This is Adrian Webster, the internationally renowned motivational business speaker and best-selling author.
And this is Dr. Jack Lewis, TV's favourite neuroscientist.
Together, we've written a book called
Sort Your Brain Out.
It does exactly what it says on the tin.
Helps boost performance.
By helping you understand how your brain works and exactly what you can do to get more out of it.
Jack, a lot of people say the brain is amazing. Now, I know the brain is amazing, but why is it amazing?
I'll tell you why the human brain is amazing. It's because our brains have 86 billion neurons in them. Those are the neurons are the wires which send electrical messages from A to B. It has 86 billion support cells, other cells known as glia. Without those, the neurons couldn't do their job at all. We really need those. They also have 100 trillion synapses connecting the different brain wires together so they can share information between different parts of the brain. That's more synapses, more connections in your brain and mine and everyone else's than there are stars in our galaxy.
That's all fascinating stuff, Jack, but how does a person's brain compare with a supercomputer?
It's a good question. Supercomputers are extremely good at performing calculations very, very quickly. But they have to be told what calculations to perform. They're not very flexible. So our brains, the reason our brains are incredible instruments, incredible machines, is because they don't need to be told how to process the information. They can work it out on the fly. Brains are incredibly flexible, and if you put a human being in a situation that they've never been in before, the brain can find a way to crunch the information to help you do well in that environment. A computer, on the other hand, is absolutely screwed.
So what you're saying is, if somebody forces their brain, if they challenge their brain to do something different, it can change to adapt to meet that new demand.
Exactly right. Whereas a supercomputer, or a robot for that matter, if you put it out of the environment it was designed for, it has no alternative. It doesn't know, it can't figure out as it goes along on the fly how to adapt and change and start processing the new information. The human brain can do anything. And in the process of doing it, it physically changes.
It physically changes.
So, you know, we're talking about the synapses.
Yes.
That there are 100 trillion of these. Well, each neuron can have between 1,000 and 3,000 connections with other neurons. And exactly where those connections are is all based on experience. If you do something intensively, consistently, meaning not just sort of for a couple of weeks, but you keep it up for a long period of time, and you do it regularly, so not just sort of, you know, every week or so, but you try and do it every day or every other day, the brain will physically change in order to create more connections between the brain areas involved in that mental ability.
So regularly, intensively, and consistently, your brain physically changes to meet any new demand.
That's right. And we know that there's a physical change because of taxi drivers. So London taxi drivers, if they want to drive a Hackney carriage, they have to do the knowledge, right?
Yep.
Thousands of routes around London, hundreds of landmarks, and they have to memorize tens of thousands of routes. Now, the part of the brain that does memory and the part of the brain that naturally gives you your awareness of where you are in space is called the hippocampus.
Hippocampus.
Hippocampus. Yeah. Those are your memory banks. That's a nice way of thinking about it. And if you compare in a brain scan, the taxi driver's brain before and after they've done the knowledge, parts of the hippocampus become physically larger because it's laid down thousands and thousands and thousands of new connections. After retirement, it reduces back down to the original size. So it's very much a matter of use it or lose it.
That really is amazing.